guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're in my guest room and we're going to talk about 15 things that can take your guest room to the next level. Do you ever go on Pinterest and see these swoon-worthy rooms, or I don't know, go visit your friends and they don't have the most welcoming guest room, you know? Like, you're like, oh, okay, and it's just kind of this room that they put all their random furniture, mismatched furniture in, and has the flattest pillows, and you're like, God, I cannot wait to get home to be in my bed with the comforts of my own home, right? So, I had a guest room like that once, and some dear friends told us that it was the worst guest room they'd ever stayed in, and that we should really consider investing in some things that we hadn't invested before. Now, granted, we were just out of school and had no money. We're buying everything new for our house. It was like my old college bed mattress that had been I had through middle school all the way to college. It was uncomfortable, which is why we bought our own bed. And like, listen, you don't want to invest a lot of money into your guest room because typically not that many people use it, right? So it's understandable that you don't really want to put thousands of dollars into making this guest experience that, you know, is in a room that you very sparsely utilize. So these are 15 things on a budget that can help make your guest experience even that much better. Number one. I think we can all say that we have stayed at somebody's house, either a parent's house, a friend's, whatever, and they have had terrible pillows, and you wake up with a kink in your neck, or achy, or just like did not get a good night's sleep because the pillows were terrible. Now, everybody has different preferences on pillows. Some people like really flat pillows. Some people like memory foam pillows. Some people hate down pillows. Some people love them. It is all across the board. So I am saying maybe invest in a couple of different types of pillows for your guest. My sister recently stayed here and she was so thankful that there was a variety of pillows because she actually prefers down pillows, whereas I prefer memory foam pillows. And she was like, you know, those other pillows were like too fluffy, like I could not get comfortable, so I was glad that you had a couple of different ones. Now, these do not need to be expensive. Pillows can be extremely expensive depending on what you get. Now, I'm just saying, if your pillows are like pancakes, maybe consider adding a couple other fluffy ones, right? Like you can pick them up at places like TJ Maxx. Walmart has affordable pillows, Target. Like, you don't have to break the bank. And I'm not saying have 80 bazillion pillows. I'm just saying maybe have like, you know, 2 types for your guest. You don't want them to sleep terribly and go home and be like, God, they had the worst flipping pillows of my life, you know? So it's a little bit of an investment, but not bad. Okay, so next up is extra blankets in your guest room. Now, this may seem pretty normal, right? But like, or, you know, kind of common sense. It's really important to recognize a couple of things. One, everybody likes the temperature of how of when they go to sleep different. Some people like to be cold. Some people like to be warm. Sometimes a room in your house can be warmer than other rooms of your house and not get as much circulation. So it's important to add a variety of additional blankets and different types of blankets. So on our guest bed, we have an all-season comforter. But then I also, depending on the season, put different blankets. When it's colder, I use this beautiful furry blanket. It's hot when you sleep with it. So in the summer, I tend to put on a lighter quilt. So if the comforter is too heavy, they can just use the quilt, whatever. So that's something, especially like through the seasons, right? Like if you live in somewhere that's super, super cold, then you probably want to put thicker bedding on your bed. If you live in a more hot climate like I do, more times out of the year, you're not going to need a really thick blanket, you know? So just keep that in mind when you have people coming over. Okay, another one that I am going to invest in because I don't have it yet, but I want to have, is a sound machine and or a fan. So my good friend Amber, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Ever since college, we have been staying at each other's houses and apartments and whatnot because we lived in different areas. And one thing that I always have for Amber is a fan. She has always slept with a fan. She needs the noise. And it is something that I just know to be true. And so I have one in here and have in every house I've ever lived in had a fan for when Amber comes. You know, you're living in or you're staying in a different person's house for the weekend and their house makes different noises, or, you know, maybe their guest room is right next to their bedroom and you can hear the TV because you went to bed earlier, whatever. You can pick up a really inexpensive sound machine for like 25 bucks and just have it charged, and it can drown out pretty much all the noise. I recently stayed in an Airbnb in Nashville and the noise was so loud. The road noise was so loud, but they had a sound machine and that was a lifesaver. So this is one that I have not purchased yet, but it's on my list to get. So something to consider. All right, next thing. So you know when you go to hotels and you forgot that you needed shampoo or body wash or whatever, and that's there, maybe consider doing the same thing for your guest room. Having like a little tub or like a little jar of extra toiletries like lotion, toothpaste. You know, people tend to remember their body wash or like their shampoo and conditioner, but like face wash or makeup remover wipes and stuff like that. Consider having some of those on hand in the guest room, or even in your bathroom if you have a guest bathroom. It's really nice to have that so that your guest doesn't have to come ask you to borrow yours. I mean, obviously they're staying in your home so you don't mind, but it is a nice little extra to have in case they need it. All right, next up is the Wi-Fi password. So this is another thing. So they come in from out of town and they've had a long time and they just want to scroll on their phone at night, and they have to like knock on your bedroom door after everybody's finished catching up and ask you what the Wi-Fi password is. It is very easy to do a printout or, you know, and put a little frame up that says username and password in the guest room so they don't ever have to ask. Or say they asked you once and they logged in on their phone, but they want to log in on their computer. Now they got to come ask you again. So if you have something just framed and sitting on the desk or on the dresser for them to be able to access very easily, it's very, very minimal. It doesn't have to be big. You know, you don't have to print a poster with it on it, but it's just one of those convenience things that really helps to eliminate the awkwardness or like having them not being able to have the experience that they want because they can't log on. Okay, next up, for my homebodies that really need some downtime, is having entertainment in the guest room. So that can be a multitude of things. It could mean books. It could mean having an extra TV. It could be magazines. Really, coloring book. Like, you could put pretty much any kind of thing that you want in your space. But sometimes guests just need a little bit of downtime where they're able to kind of reset, and maybe they want to read a book but they forgot one, or they want to just like they zone out on the TV, or they just need 30 minutes to themselves because it's been very people-y, especially if you have a lot of people in your house for the holidays. Sometimes you just need a little downtime. So consider adding those things just for the convenience of your guest. Okay, next up is a mirror. An easy mirror. So I've got a little Boo Bear here. A mirror. That can be a full-length mirror. It can be a vanity mirror. Just somewhere that if they need to check themselves or the bathroom is occupied, they're able to like fix their hair or throw on their makeup really quickly. It's really important to have one, you know, to make sure that your fit looks good. And it's a very easy thing that you can put up. I have a full-length mirror and a vanity. We only have one bathroom, so a lot of times our guests are getting ready in the guest room because we all have to share a bathroom and it's occupied most of the time. So that's been a lifesaver for people to be able to get ready. Next up is clean space. So what do I mean by that? I'm talking about space on your nightstand or the dresser or a desk, that if they want to take their jewelry off or put their phone down, or, you know, they have their medications or makeup, whatever, they have room to kind of put that out. Now, granted, you know, if you're having a house guest for, you know, weeks on end, then you might want to clean out some closet space or a drawer for them to truly unpack. But most of the time we have people staying, you know, 3 to 5 days, and, you know, they don't really need space in the dresser or in the closet. Most of the time they just want some space to be able to, like, kind of put their stuff out. So while it's important to have your space decorated and feel homey and not be so sparse, it's also important to leave space where the guests don't feel like they're crowding everything. All right, kind of ties back to the first one, is nice sheets. So again, this is kind of preference, but there's nothing worse than crawling into a bed and it having the stiffest, crunchiest, cheap sheets. And I'm not saying you have to splurge like you would on your primary bedroom sheets, but maybe don't buy the cheapest polyester sheets you can find. You still want your guests to be comfortable, you know, so a nice Model cotton or potentially Egyptian cotton, maybe even a jersey knit or a flannel sheet is really nice. I'm not saying you have to break the bank, but I'm just saying nice sheets goes a long way. Another thing, phone chargers, or a place to easily access the plug for phone chargers. So, like everybody has a phone. Most people have iPads or computers, or, you know, maybe they want to plug something else in. I don't know, like maybe they need to plug in a sleep machine or something. Having extra phone chargers on tap for them is really helpful. Especially if you have a hard to reach plug. So if you have to crawl under your bed to plug in a phone charger, maybe have one there for them, and maybe have it be the block so that you can easily switch in and out the cable to fit your iPhone or your Android. Or, you know, if somebody forgets it, it's nice to have an additional charger. Now, I'm not saying have a charger for everybody for everything, but like, then you're not having to share yours, right? Like, and then if you lose yours or yours goes bad or something, then you have an extra one you can steal from any other day. And like I said, if it's a hard to reach plug, like in here, the main plug on this wall, like near the nightstands, is actually behind the headboard. So I have an extension cord and a phone charger so that people can easily access it. Next up, kind of on that same idea, is there is nothing worse than being in a guest room and realizing that there are no table lamps on the side tables, or there are no side tables with table lamps, and you have to get up, walk across the room, turn the light switch off, and then fumble your way back to bed without bumping into things. Lamps are really important. So, and they're not that expensive. So it's really important to at least have one lamp within arm's reach of the bed. Again, we recently stayed at a friend's house. They only had one nightstand on one side of the room. And the reality of it is like Ian and I are both like staying there. And so we're fighting over who gets the side with the nightstand, because your phone goes on there, you know, your glasses, like if you're watching something on your iPad, it goes on there. So consider making sure to have at least 2 nightstands, or even a little shelf. You could do an acrylic shelf or a little hanging shelf if you don't have the room for an entire nightstand. But just somewhere to be able to place a glass of water or a phone or, you know, a book is really important. A lamp, mainly a lamp. Make sure you have a lamp in your guest room. Next thing up, kind of in conjunction with that, is it's a nice to have. You don't have to have it, but consider having a little water craft or water bottles. We're not a huge fan of plastic bottles, so we don't keep them here, and it's something I've been kind of on the hunt for, is a water craft for guests to come. Then they don't have to get up and go all the way through your house and fumble down the stairs to get to the kitchen for a glass, and then open all the cabinets to get to the kitchen to get a glass of water. It's something that is kind of nice to have. If they get up in the middle of the night and need a drink, they don't have to go all the way through the house and possibly wake everybody up. All right, next up. Again, it's a nice to have. These last ones are kind of nice to haves. Is a luggage stand. So I've been eyeing a few. I've not splurged because I kind of have a stool that works as this, but having somewhere other than the floor to put your luggage is really nice. Most everyone travels with a rolly bag now, or maybe a duffel bag. And to have it on the ground and just feel like you're living out of a bag kind of sucks. It's one of the things that I like most about a hotel room is that they have a luggage stand, and you know, it's kind of like it's in a dresser. It's a little bit easier to kind of maintain and not just like dig through everything. So if you spy a vintage one, or maybe at an estate sale, like, consider picking it up because it's a nice to have in your guest room. And kind of similarly, another nice to have is an extra chair in your space, for a couple of reasons. One, maybe people don't want to sit in the bed and read or watch TV or take a phone call or put their shoes on, right? Two, it can kind of be a catch-all for their coats. Having an extra chair, I mean, now granted, not everybody has a ton of space. Typically your guest rooms are the smallest room in your house. So, you know, you're not looking to fill it up to the brim with furniture, but having an extra chair in the room is really nice for people to be able to just kind of like have a catch-all space, you know, sit in, put their shoes on, etc., etc. Another one for you is nice towels. Now this could be in your guest room, or it could be in your guest bathroom, depending on, you know, if you're lucky enough to have a designated guest bathroom. Most of us aren't. I know I'm not. We all share our one bathroom. So I actually put my guest towels in the room itself. A, because I don't have a lot of linen storage, and B, I think it's just easier for guests to grab them and go. They don't have to watch me dig through my messy linen closet to find them their towel. You know, I also think, like the sheets, it's important to invest in these because there is nothing worse than like scurrying from the bathroom with the teeniest, tiniest towel wrapped around you. Like, I am a fan of the bath sheets. Or if you don't want to scurry through, putting on clothes while you're damp. It is the worst feeling in the world. Oh, it just reminds me of after swim practice, having to put on dry clothes when you're damp. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it that I hate. And like, it's so humid in there because you've been like showering or whatever. And you know, I like to have nice towels that are easily accessible, that are like nice and big. My sister came to visit me not too long ago, and she actually brought her own towel because she hates that just as much. And I told her, I was like, Jenny, I have I have nice towels. Like, you can use them. Again, you don't have to break the bank and like buy $50 towels, but you know, invest in some nicer quality cotton ones, maybe a little bit larger. You can find really great ones of these at like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Target, you know, even Walmart. Like, you can find them for really inexpensively that are still nice. You just don't want them to be so cheap that they don't ever absorb water. I think we all know those towels, right? Like, when you try to dry something out, especially hand towels, when you try to dry something off and the water just beads up and it doesn't actually absorb anything, like, those are the worst. And whenever you're at somebody's house and that's the kind of towel you have, you're like, what is this garbage? Like, you know, you don't want to be rude and tell them they have crummy stuff, but sometimes people have crummy stuff. Also, along those lines, kind of to tie into the towels, is have a place for your guests to hang their damp towels. I don't currently have a place for that, and it's something that I've noticed the last couple of times people have come to visit, that they don't really have space to hang their damp towels. So consider adding a hook, or, you know, one of those hooks over at the door, or if they have their own guest bath, make sure they have room to hang their own towels. You know, sometimes we like to make our guest bathrooms beautiful and we take up the towel bar space with pretty towels instead of like utilitarian towels. So just keep that in mind. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that maybe you had maybe it helps you bump your guest room up to that next level. Tell me in the comments below, is there something on this list that you never thought of or that you're going to implement now that you've seen this? Is there something that I left off this list? Tell me in the comments below. I'm always looking for a great tip and trick, because we live out of town of most of our friends and family, so we have guests pretty consistently. And I want them to have the best experience that they can have and enjoy coming and not like leave and be like, oh, I hate staying at their house because they have X, Y, and Z, right? So, so tell me in the comments below. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and come back every Saturday for a new video. I upload at 6 a.m. every Saturday, so grab a cup of coffee, turn on the TV, and come along with me on this DIY home decor journey, if you will. Like, I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. It's a really great creative outlet for me. So, you know, I enjoy it, and I just like knowing that you guys get something out of it too. So tell me below in the comments, you know, what you learned, what you do different, anything I missed, like let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.